Boy, I'm educated and...
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with Jenny and we are gonna do her beautiful hair today. Are we cutting your hair? We didn't talk about that.
I think I like it having like the little V in the back.
Okay, so then yeah, we're gonna cut her hair, even it out, give her like, you want like some layers, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because right now it's all kind of one length. And then we are gonna be doing some highlights. We're gonna be doing like some balayage, some foiling, like all kinds of stuff. It's just gonna be really pretty because you want to be brighter, you want to be lighter, right? Yes. But then you also want to keep some of your, you want to show your natural color, right? Okay, yeah, so that's what we're gonna do today. I did want to take this opportunity to show you guys one of my favorite foiling techniques. You'll see how it looks, but it kind of breaks up the hair. It's like a combination of foil highlights, that kind of look, but then a combination of balayage, so it doesn't look so ombre. You'll see how it looks when it's all done. It's going to be really pretty, really bright around the face and everything like that. And Elva, you can see her in the background here, like in the corner. I cut her hair. Jenny is her friend. I cut her hair like, I don't know, like 3 weeks ago. Come to the light so they can see your beautiful hair.
See, I've gotten so many compliments.
Yes, and your makeup is bomb too. Not compliments of me, but compliments. So yes, we're gonna get started now. Okay, for starters, I'm gonna cut Jenny's hair, and I do cut hair dry. So I like doing it this way. I get it done before I do color. So I'm just gonna section off her hair, cut my guideline here, and then do the rest of her haircut. I didn't go into detail with her haircut because this is mainly about her color.
Though I'm patient, my patience is wearing thin. No, you can't be shy.
I'm gonna begin her color around her face because I want this to be the lightest and the brightest area. So I sectioned off her fringe area, and I always pay attention to how the client parts their hair, but also how their hair naturally falls and grows, okay? So I don't force hair to go in ways that it won't go when she leaves my chair, if that makes sense. So I'm sectioning off this little section here, and then I'm gonna do a very, very fine weave, which I'm showing you here. And then all I'm gonna do is grab my foils, which I'm using the Framar pop-up foils. I love these freaking foils. They just fold beautifully, and they're already folded there at the edge, and just makes my life easy. And they're pretty too. So I'm gonna place the hair over the foil, and then I use this first dab of lightener to hold the foil in place. And then from there, I can let the foil go and then apply the lightener to the rest of that strand. That's for those of you beginners out there, you beginner colorist. Oh, and I'm also using my Framar brush. Oh my gosh, you guys, love these brushes. Not sponsored, but they just, I don't know, their tools just make anything you want to create possible. The brush bristles are very soft but not flimsy, if that makes sense. So after I apply the lightener, I'm just going to fold that twice and then lock the foil by turning that flap down and then folding the edges inward. After I'm done with that foil, I'm just going to slice a strand of hair out, not literally, but I'm making a slice, and then I'm making it very fine. As you can see, when I pull the hair back, you can still see the foil. That means that the piece is going to be very fine, so then the front of her hair is going to be very bright. It's not going to be as dark. Does that make sense? So now I'm working on the next foil, and I sped this part up because it is repetitive. This whole section right here, I'm going to be using just one technique.
Feels like we got something going on.
So moving on to the sides around her face, I'm going to take that piece out there and then clip the rest back. And as you'll see right here, I'm going to brush forward her baby hair. I will take the longer strands out of that section as I weave out my piece. But for those of you trying to work around baby hair, you don't know what to do with it, I just comb it going the opposite way in which it grows. So I'm taking a piece out there that is somewhere between a slice and a weave, and then I just like to dab a piece in the middle and then I stroke upward. Does that make sense? And I'm not using new lightener to stroke upward, I'm using the lightener from the dab to just feather it upward. Now I'm just taking a foil, putting that underneath it, and then I am going to apply lightener to the rest of that strand. As I'm applying the lightener to the ends of the strand, I'm just going to slide the foil down so that way I get the ends. And I do want to say that when I did do Jenny's hair, I was still experimenting with this technique. So I will show you guys in a future video things that I would have done differently, because now that I'm looking back at this as I'm editing it, I'm editing about 3 weeks later, I noticed that I do things differently now. But that is the beauty of hair and growing and learning. I didn't do anything bad or wrong. It's just looking back, there are easier ways to do what I'm doing. So yeah, so next I'm gonna just clip that piece back there. As you can see, it's pretty fine. You can still see the pink foil through that piece. And then here I'm gonna do a weave around her face. Whenever I'm working around a client's face while doing foils, I do like to make the strands very fine that I'm working with, because you want to give the effect, depending on the look you're going for and who you are, your art, you know, your hairstyle. Every hairstylist has their own art, okay, their own look. But I like to do pieces very fine because I like the look of that hair is growing out of your head. You know what I mean? I don't want it to look like, oh, she has highlights. I want it to look like you just came from vacation, okay, in the south of France, and you were like laying out on a yacht all day and the hair around your face just got lighter. That's the look I like. That's my style. Now working with the back of the hair, I'm going to start at the top, the crown area, and then I'm going to take a weave. Now this weave is going to be more defined. And if you don't know what a weave is, weaves are when it looks more like stripes, like individual strands. I hate using the word stripes because the thing is, well, anyway, let me apply this foil first. So see, that is a weave. A slice looks more like a solid piece. You don't see strands. So I am going to apply the lightener. Okay, I'm going to start at the mid strand, and then as I work toward the top, I'm just going to flick the lightener up so that way it blends and it doesn't look as solid when the client's hair grows out, and therefore they don't have the high maintenance. Because I love foils, you guys. I love using foils for highlights. I love foil highlights. They are just so much more glamorous. Okay, foil highlights are the future. Everybody wants to come in and they're like, oh, I want balayage. I want ombre. First of all, ombre is like so 2007. But balayage this, balayage that. Okay, look, we're going into a new year. We're about to be in 2018, all right? And foils are making a comeback. If you want that bougie look, you need to get foil highlights, okay? They're just so much more glam, and it just makes the hair lighten easily. By the way, this next piece is going to be a slice. So it just looks so much better when you use foils versus the whole balayage technique, you know. But then, okay, everybody has their preference. Anyway, I'm a total advocate for foils is what I'm trying to say. And when people say stripes, oh, let me show you, or let me say really quick, I'm dabbing the color on there in the center, and then I'm just going to take the lightener that's already on this strand and then flick it up. And this is going to give that blurred, blended effect. Okay, so what I was saying about stripes is that when you look at the shape of a strand of hair, what is the shape of a strand of hair? The shape of a strand of hair is technically a stripe. It's technically a rectangle. So just don't pay attention to, oh, this is like a stripe in my hair. Like, no, it's a freaking strand of hair. Take the color out of your hair. Even just look at solid colored hair. What shape is that piece of hair? It's technically a string, a stripe. It's a line, okay? It's a freaking line, okay? So don't be afraid to use foils. You can just use foils or get foil highlights in an updated way. Sorry that was like the longest voiceover run-on 3-minute sentence ever, but you know how I get sometimes when it comes to hair. So I'm putting a foil underneath this, and then I'm gonna put a foil over it and lock this foil closed. Again, I found an easier way to do this entire thing where this is just such a waste of time. Don't pay attention to this technique. This is me learning and experimenting. But like I was saying, that is a beauty in being an artist, okay? A hair artist. We create art. Okay? We bring out the best in a person's hair, and sometimes when you're creating art, whatever form that is, you learn more efficient ways to do things, and that just comes from practice, okay? And you should never stop learning as a hairdresser because times change, okay? Techniques change. And also, if you see something and you want to do it, then just experiment with that and do it. Who cares if it's not like what's in style? Who cares? Just experiment and then get better and then get better and then get better and then get better, okay? It's just like hair is like life, you guys, okay? The progress is in the struggle. So when I'm applying her color, she didn't know, nobody knew, and actually I didn't know at the time, but now that I'm watching this video back, I was struggling, or at least I wasn't doing things in the most efficient way. There's just way too many foils in her hair. I didn't need to use as many foils as I did to encapsulate my strands of hair. There's just a lot of things, but like I said, you learn from experience. Just like if you do anything physical, if you do sports or anything like that, you do repetition and then you learn easier ways to do whatever it is you want to do. So anyway, that is another weave. So as you can see, I'm doing a weave, a slice, and then a weave, and then a slice, etc., etc. And I'm going to do the rest of the back of her hair like this. So after I have rinsed and shampooed her hair, you see how light her hair got. Now she is totally not with the super light highlights, so we are going to tone her highlights down, although she would make a sickening blonde, okay? We're going to tone with Redken Shades EQ, half 9NB, half 6GI, so that'll bring us to about a 7.5-ish. Okay, so I'm going to start to apply this gloss to her hair here at the shampoo bowl. I'm going to run it all the way through, work it through, and then leave it on for about 20 minutes. I also wanted to point out that Jenny does have a little bit of postpartum hair loss or hair thinning or hair shedding, which is totally normal after you give birth. I think her baby's less than a year old. He's so freaking cute, by the way. So yeah, that's totally normal, and your hair will grow back. It just takes a while. Okay, so just FYI if you guys saw any shedding or if you see any shedding in the shampoo bowl. So we're going to apply that, work it all the way through the hair, make sure everything is saturated. And again, I'm going to process this at room temperature for 20 minutes. You can also process this with heat for 10 minutes, or you can just look at the hair and just see, how long you You can just watch it change. Okay, so I just rinsed her gloss, and then I'm actually doing a second gloss right now that's processing. I just painted it here at her root. I did 6 GI Shades EQ, and I did that because sometimes when you use foils, depending on the technique you use, a lot of people don't like that, like the regrowth phase when you can see it growing out. You know, you don't like that, right?
No.
Yeah, most people don't. So this is like the updated way of using foils, so that way it doesn't, you don't feel like you have to be in the salon like every 4 weeks, you know? So what you can do to avoid that, even, you know, if you still want to use foils and different techniques like that, after you rinse and do your gloss, you can just paint on just a little toner or a gloss at the root that's close to the client's natural color. So this is close to her color. She's like a natural level 6. So all that does, it's like a shadow root that you're painting. So all that does is just paint a little shadow here. I didn't pull it through to the ends at all. This is all toned from the gloss earlier. And so it's just gonna look a little bit deeper at the root, and it'll give her more longevity with her color, and so she doesn't feel like, you know, she has to get it redone. So we are just gonna rinse this and then condition, and then we're gonna do a nice blowout.
Boy, I'm educated in the art of waiting for you to give in. And I'm simply stating that you're impatient, my patience is wearing thin. No, you can't be shy, you can't. Baby, while you're sleeping, I'll be passing you by.
So we are done with Jenny's hair. How do you like it?
I love it. 100%.
Yeah, I think it looks beautiful. So she didn't want anything, you didn't want anything like too light, right? You didn't want anything too bright. So I actually toned her with Redken Shades EQ, their gold iridescent line, which is fairly new, and I really love it because on girls who are kind of like, who have like a little bit of warmth to their skin, but they're not super on the warm side, and you don't want your hair to look brassy, gold iridescence is great because it still has that gold in it, but then the violet part of that color kind of cancels out any brassiness. So I think it looks perfect for if you're going for that, what's that girl's name? Sofia Vergara. Yes, if you're going if you're going for her kind of blonde look, and a lot of girls actually ask for that. It's like a beige kind of level 7 color. It's really pretty. And oh yeah, and then we also decided to cut her hair a little bit here and add this little piece here, because before when we cut it, it was just all long, because I think you were kind of not attached to that piece, but you kind of liked it long at first.
I liked it long, but I like to have a different length to like shape the face, and also think it looks better for your hair. Yeah, and it looks pretty like when you curl it and stuff like that. It gives the hair more shape and everything. She has like this cute little face shape and like the cheekbones here, so it looks really good. So yes, that is it for this video. If you guys liked it, then rate it thumbs up. Do you want to say bye? Yes. Bye bye. Bye bye. Everybody in this room has iconic hair, right? Yes. Well, I need to work on mine, but yes. All right, thank you for watching. Bye.